You know, saying no can be really tough, can't it? Especially when it's about something big. Well, today we're talking about a whole country saying no to a major peace plan. And believe me, the reasons why are absolutely fascinating.
So let's really think about that for a second. How do you say no to a peace plan? I mean, it's not just a simple no thanks, right? There's so much more to it. It's all about conditions, it's about power, and it's about what you want to happen next. And that is exactly what we are going to get into today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Easy English Wins. I'm so glad you could join me. Today, we are diving deep into a major international news story, a conflict involving Iran and the United States. And this is such a great way to see how English is used in the real world to talk about some pretty complex stuff.
Now, this is an intermediate level lesson, and here's what we're going to do. By the end of this, you won't just understand the news story, you'll have also picked up more than 10 new vocabulary words, learned some really natural English phrases, and even gotten a few pronunciation tips. So let's jump in. All right, so what's the headline? The big news is this: Iran has rejected a peace proposal from the United States. Basically, the US offered a plan to end the war, and Iran's response was, nope. The key word here that you need to know is proposal.
A proposal is just a formal plan or a suggestion. You know, like your boss might make a proposal for a new project at work. Now, what's really useful here is the pronunciation. Notice the stress. We don't say proposal. We put the stress on that second syllable, proposal. Let's say that together, proposal. Perfect.
So, according to a senior official, Iran didn't just say no. They actually called the U.S. proposal excessive, which is a great word that means too much or unreasonable. They said they want to end the conflict on their own terms. Now, that is a fantastic natural phrase. If you do something on your own terms, it means you do it your way, following your own rules, not someone else's. And that brings us to the obvious next question, right? If Iran wants to end the war on its own terms, well, what exactly are those terms? What does Iran want before it will agree to peace?
Okay, so here are the 5 main conditions that Iran has put on the table. They want an end to all attacks, they want guarantees for their future safety, they want money for all the damage, they want the fighting to stop everywhere in the region, and they want their power as an independent nation to be officially recognized. There are some awesome vocabulary here, so let's break some of these down.
First up is aggression. This is when a country acts in a really angry or violent way, like it's starting a fight or attacking another nation. So, Iran's first condition is basically, you have to stop all the attacks. For pronunciation, listen to that eshin at the end. It makes a shun sound. Listen, aggression. Next, Iran is asking for compensation. Compensation is just money that you get because something was damaged or you were hurt. For example, if an airline loses your luggage, they might have to pay you compensation. And a very common phrase, a great collocation, is to pay compensation, which is exactly what Iran is asking for here. And the last big word right here is sovereignty. This is a country's independence, its power to control its own government without anybody else interfering. This is a huge deal for them. Now, I know the pronunciation looks a little tricky, but listen closely. We say sovereignty. Notice how that middle part air is almost silent. It's not sovereignty, it's sovereignty. Give it a try.
Okay, so this chart really shows you the gap between the two sides. The US was offering things like sanctions relief, which means removing economic punishments. They also wanted a rollback of Iran's nuclear program, which just means to reduce it or stop it. But as you can see, Iran's demands for compensation, security, and sovereignty, well, they're just completely different. The two sides are just not on the same page.
Now, one of the key things in the U.S. proposal was about reopening something called the Strait of Hormuz. And you might be asking yourself, okay, why does this one little channel of water matter so much to the entire world? And here's the answer. It's a huge deal. An incredible 1/5 of all the oil in the world passes right through this narrow waterway. Right now, Iran has a stranglehold on it, which is a great word. It means they have very tight control. Because of this, global oil prices are starting to skyrocket. Another fantastic word, meaning they're going up very, very fast. This affects all of us, the price of gas for your car, the cost of things in the store. It affects everyone.
And of course, behind all the politics and the economics, there is a very real human cost. The article mentions the number of casualties. According to reports, over 1,500 people have died in Iran. The numbers for Israel and the U.S. military are also listed here. It's just so important to remember the real people who are affected by all of these events.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so let's just slow down for a minute and summarize the most important points. These are the key takeaways you really need to remember from this news story.
So the most important points are, first, Iran said no to the U.S. peace plan because they thought it was unreasonable. Second, Iran has its own list of 5 big demands, including things like compensation and sovereignty. Third, the two sides are just really far apart on the key issues. And finally, this isn't just a local problem. Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz is impacting oil prices for everyone around the world.
And now it's your turn to practice. I've got a few questions for you. What do you think about Iran's conditions? Why is the Strait of Hormuz so important? And just curious, are you trying to follow international news in English? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. It is a great way to practice your writing.
All right, before we finish up, let's do a super quick vocabulary review, just to make sure these new words really stick in your memory. Are you ready for it?
Okay, here we go. A proposal is a formal plan. For example, I made a proposal to my team. Aggression is an attack. The country was accused of aggression. Compensation is money for damages. The airline paid compensation for the lost bag. Sovereignty is a country's independence. They fought to defend their sovereignty. Sanctions relief is ending economic punishments. The country hoped for sanctions relief. And skyrocket means to increase very quickly. Ticket prices will skyrocket during the holidays. How did you do?
You did a fantastic job today. We took a really complicated, real-world news story and we broke it all down together. You should be really proud of yourself for learning about this advanced topic in English. Before you go, if this explainer helped you learn, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. Make sure you subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss our next lesson. For a little extra practice, comment below with just one new word you learned today. And finally, if you know someone else who's learning English, please share this with them. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.